The 4chan iceberg has finally reached a point where we are about to explore some dark corners. We made it past the surface level stuff, and now we are deep diving into some more unsettling and controversial topics the site has ever produced. I want to give you a small heads up before we proceed. What we cover today is not for the faint of heart. Some of the things we will discuss are disturbing and could be upsetting, so if you're sensitive to intense and graphic content, this might be a good time to click off. Throughout the video we'll be touching on topics that have shocked internet users, raised ethical debates, and even involved legal action. If this sounds remotely interesting, grab something to drink and snack, because you're going on another deep dive with Snorky.
A police warning about an internet fad is being mocked in cyberspace. It all started with a California police department, but a warning against a cartoon bear preying on children was issued here in Tulsa.
I have a feeling that this entry might result in this video being demonetized, but that won't stop me from discussing this topic at all. Now, how could this seemingly cute little bear be involved into something that would land this video to be demonetized?
12 years old!
Too old. Do not want.
Well, this bear started as a satirical meme and originated from the anime section of 4chan. What a surprise. If you never heard of this bear, that's actually a good thing. If someone refers to you as one, that's a strong indication you should be behind bars.
It's bad enough he's a bear, but he's also a pedophile.
He's just a bear. Thanks for the honey, Father Bear.
Nom nom nom.
Pet bear is a term, but also a form of symbol for inappropriate or predatory behavior towards children.
Internet joke or seemingly innocent menace. Pet bear, the cartoon image, and the people who dress up like it have police putting parents on alert.
Absolute disgust to think that a group of people who are child predators would have a mascot.
However, the original bear has a much different history. The roots of this meme are from the Japanese board 2chan, and the bear involved from Kuma, which was a Japanese bear compiled with text. Unlike P-Bear, Kuma does not have anything to do with sexual assault. Eventually posting Kuma on the thread was used for baiting and fishing for attention. This is also the point in time where Kuma reached its final form, so to say. On 2chan, Kuma was often depicted in images sleeping with children, and 4chaners immediately exploited this to create the P-Bear. As Kuma made its way from Japan to US, things would look much different. 4chan would use this idea and created a P-Bear persona. The text form would eventually evolve into a picture format. 4chaners would use oftentimes this image when people tend to express a weird interest in anime which would involve children, especially if they are in swimsuits or people who are in lolly, a topic we already covered a few times on my channel.
I took my pants off! Are you happy? You are sick. You are sick.
But even if this was a simple prank or just an accusation, media sites in 2010 thought of this a bit differently. They warned the public about the dangers of the P-Bear, and it sparked quite a backlash as suddenly cosplays of bears would pop up around the Comic-Con that was held that year. This prompted even the intervention of law enforcement, because the media outlets thought of P-Bears of a special group of PDFs who wanted to catch children.
What started as a popular Japanese cartoon is now a symbol for unthinkable crimes against children.
The bear's cute. The bear is cute. But that is what the pet are using to identify each other.
But the story doesn't end here, as the P-Bear would also evolve into a special seal of approval, which were put on questionable pictures, with the phrase, "Is that some lolly?" Today, P-Bear is less prominent, but it remains a point of discussion in the internet history and meme culture. As things like PDFs are more and more prominent online, I don't know how to think about this meme. Even if it started as a mockery about creepy guys, slapping a seal of approval should not be the first thing to do when spotting somebody creeping on children.
We'll have to stop him ourselves.
But should this meme be viewed only as a harmless meme, or should we look at P-Bear as a symbol of awareness, is something I'll let you to decide. Heck, perhaps you think that P-Bear should be the next Olympic mascot. I don't know.
Protect the children, you bastard.
Also, for whatever reason, perhaps it's a generational thing, but every time I hear the term pit bear, I think about the South Park episode where they had a bear who teaches about sexual harassment.
Don't say that, don't touch there, don't be nasty, says the silly bear. He's gonna tell you what's right and wrong. Sexual harassment, panda.
I think you mistaken me for somebody else. Nom nom nom.
Bomb threats called into state capitals across the country, causing mass evacuations. The scene playing out this morning in Frankfurt.
How far can you run with a joke until it becomes a bit inappropriate? The definition of what's funny and what's not is also highly debatable nowadays. I somehow feel that people can't take a joke like they used to. Now Fortune does love the funny games they play with the public, and some of the pranks are considered quite harmless.
From the very first, shaved, bald for Bieber.
But this story isn't about a harmless prank. The story goes back to the era when Pluto was downgraded from a planet to a dwarf planet. Elder Scrolls hit the shelf, but also it was the year when the dictator Saddam Hussein was executed. This was also the era and time when people understood that you should simply not mess with the power of the internet, as it can be an unstoppable force. The suspect today was Jack, a simple 20-year-old grocery store worker from Wisconsin. This simple man was charged with willfully conveying false information, which carried a maximum penalty of 5 years in prison and $250,000 fine, just because he made a few posts online. You see, Jack thought it would be funny to make a prank/hoax on Fortune about detonating dirty bombs at 7 NFL stadiums across various states, including New Jersey. These dirty bombs were apparently radioactive and would spread across the area. He threatened to cause mass casualties, claiming that the bombs would be delivered by a truck targeting open-air stadiums to maximize fallout and chaos. And I don't think I need to tell you that law enforcement reacted quite seriously when this post started to pop up online. Bomb threats and school shootings are things where law enforcement loves to react as quickly as possible, even if it's a hoax. This is why the police, alongside the FBI, wanted to hunt down Jake. Later investigation proved that Jack spread around 40 posts between September and October in 2006. And as you can guess, they would find Jake pretty quickly. He was arrested for wasting security resources and initiating public fear. Because of this, he was later taken into custody by the local police and then handed over to the FBI and was set to appear in a federal court. Despite the severity of his claims, he was presumed innocent until proven guilty. There is also a reason behind his posts and why he targeted American cities. After the plane's executions, the towns would be a wasteland and they would gain the nickname the American Hiroshima, and somehow he would try to push the blame on the Muslims. The attacks would coincide with the end of the Muslim fasting month of Ramadan, and he thought that this would spark civil wars across the world, bring the global economy to a halt, and allow general chaos to rule. It was proven that he wasn't capable of doing such an attack, so he did it because of the lols, I guess. Things like this aren't funny and should be treated with caution and seriousness, as human lives can be at stake, and the law will hunt you down if they deem that your jokes are a little bit more on the extreme side.
Aaron McLaughlin joins us now with more from CNN London. What an extraordinary tale of stupidity.
It is.
Mountain Dew game fuel with double XP spotted. Target acquired. Let's move out. Come on, Greg.
Greg! What are you waiting for? A care package? Come on, man, let's go.
Mountain Dew is a high sugar and caffeine drinks that many of us know, especially if you're a retro gamer from the Xbox 360 era. It's a drink that rains through many veins and keeps the Halo community up all night long. The original formula was invented in 1940 by a Tennessee man, and it was a drink that you could normally mix with alcohol. In the late 1990s it was bought by Pepsi and it slowly became the Mountain Dew we know today. It was beloved by many gamers, especially when they decided to launch the Game Fuel line, which was a limited series of soda flavors marketed toward gamers.
We can dominate Halo 4! 7,000! Are you with me? Yes!
Starting in 2007, they launched it alongside Halo 3 for the Xbox 360 in 2009 alongside World of Warcraft, and the same thing happened with Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 launched in 2011. But why I'm telling you all of this? First of all, the sales numbers of Mountain Dew were on an all-time high, but the marketing team wanted to take this one step further. They decided it would be a good idea to let their fanbase decide the name of their new apple flavor. Suddenly, on their website, there it was, dubbed the Dew. The premise was simple. Fans would be allowed to submit and vote for the potential names to be used for the Villa Italian Kitchen restaurant, an exclusive Dew flavor. Now on paper, this sounds like a good idea. People could vote and submit their suggestions. The problem was that their site had a slight security problem. Not only that, but the voting system was also not up to date, meaning it could be easily exploited. It allowed people to vote multiple times without any verification. 4chaners did wait 1 second to exploit the site. The first step was to add a video that would pop up if you ever decide to visit the page. Basically, you were rickrolled as soon as you visit the page. Now, I don't need to tell you that the names that were suggested were quite inappropriate.
Names that made it on the top 10 leaderboard, which Mountain Dew had to choose from? Gushing Granny, Fapple, Diabetes, Gushing Granny, Granny which is disgusting, Moist Nugget, and Soda. 4chan did it, go figure. This is...
And on the first place was Hitler did nothing wrong, which was actually a form of trolling by supporting the alt-right movement, but of course some of them didn't think of this as a joke at all. After those titles went viral, the site was shut down temporarily, and the company made an apology. Sadly, the company didn't receive the results they wanted, but the trolls didn't stop there, because they decided to make a petition on petition.org to choose the first name on the list. But of course this didn't happen. In the end, Mountain Dew decided to name their new apple flavor Mountain Dew Apple. A very smart and clever marketing move to name an apple flavored product. On July 9, 2014, the flavor was renamed to a new name, Electric Apple, and the flavor is still available nowadays. Taylor Swift is a name that you probably heard of. She's a Grammy-winning American singer and songwriter. She became famous for her deeply personal, narrative-driven songs like Love Story and Shake It Off. At least that's what the wiki page told me. I don't know anything about her, but I found out that she's also quite popular for her advocacy for the LGBTQ+ community and women's empowerment. So that's good.
To be honest about your feelings and who you love when you know that might be met with adversity from society.
Love it or hate it, Taylor Swift is a pop star who garners much media attention. If you're someone who enjoys her music, good for you. But you know how this goes. For every fan out there is a troll and hater hidden in a basement who simply wants to watch the world burn. In this case, Taylor Swift's world. So to gain more fame, I guess, Taylor decided in 2012 to partner with Check, a textbook rental company, and VH1 Save the Music Foundation for a contest. The idea was simple. Fans could vote for their school to win a Taylor Swift concert. The school with the most votes would receive a personal performance from Taylor and a $10,000 donation. Now, you see what the 4chaners did with the last entry. And also, 4chan and Taylor do have some history. Taylor is quite aware of this situation, and the team behind her knows this as well. So they decided to make this poll 4chan proof. The first rule was you couldn't enter some random name like on the previous entry, or 4chaners would probably ship off Taylor to Mars. Her team was one step ahead. Taylor would also try to promote this contest online to draw as many people as possible to vote.
Hey guys, it's Taylor. I would really love to play a free concert at your school. So if you go on TaylorSwiftOnCampus.com, you can vote, and you could win a VH1 Storytellers concert or one of 5 $10,000 scholarships. It's so cool. And it's all brought to you by Chegg for Good, and the school with the most votes wins. So vote. Good luck. See you.
But the dwellers had a brilliant idea. They hated her music, and the only people who could listen to her music were those who lacked any musical taste whatsoever. So the perfect place for the contest should be a place where nobody's ears could get hurt, and that would be the Horace Mann School, a school for deaf people. So you get the irony here. Arizona State had at the time about 3,000 votes, but 4chaners managed to raise over 50,000 votes for the Horace School in no time. Suddenly, news portals started to report how the popular singer Taylor Swift would have a concert in a school for deaf people. I mean, come on, this is quite hilarious. But the team would back out, stating that the 4chaners once again tried to troll Taylor. Taylor, despite performing in the Harvard Mudd College, still donated $10,000 to the Horace Mann School. So in the end, we could say that this prank actually had a positive outcome, not like the next entry. You see, 4chan culture can be sometimes absurd, often mixed with shock value based humor. Some stories definitely went viral and sparked some backlash, like the 4chan story about the lettuce maniac who worked at Burger King. This time, it's a bit different. This all started on the 6th November 2011, just 5 days before Skyrim was released. I don't know why I mentioned that, but because this is quite a short entry, I want to go through the thread with you together. Commencing experiment in amphibian aviation. Frog is being put in a cryogenic stasis for docility during the attachment of the aviation equipment and will be revived. Frog not becoming docile quickly enough. Now adding vodka to the equation. Todd is now sufficiently docile, attempting to attach state-of-the-art aviation equipment. Aviation equipment attached, preparing for launch. Never forget the day the B-board sent a Toad into space. So yes, this is a post about a disturbed guy who decided to freeze a frog, then decided to drown it in vodka just to tie it with balloons and let it fly away. Definitely nothing to be proud of. This is pure animal abuse 101, and I don't understand who would hurt animals just for fun or the attention perhaps in this case. I'm not quite sure. This case went quite unnoticed as far as my knowledge goes, besides some people reposting this on Reddit and on few other sites. I don't have anything to add here, so let's move to the next entry.
You're gonna burn, alright.
Things like your private information should normally stay private and should not be shared around, but you already know about this, because every bit of information nowadays can be in one way or another used against you. Sometimes this could lead to hacked emails or bank accounts, people getting doxxed, or source codes leaked for major projects. This entry is about how Twitch became the target of 4chan. The reason is that they felt quite unsatisfied with how Twitch is handling its platform in general. This would lead to a massive data breach in 2021. If you never heard of Twitch, it's one of the most popular streaming sites out there, along with YouTube. Most of the content creators are hard-working gamers who would sit for days in a room and entertain people. But Twitch isn't limited only to streaming games, and you could mix things up. For example, you can play your video games in a swimsuit to gain a rock-hard following. It was launched in 2011 and was acquired by Amazon in 2014. What made the site so popular is that you can engage directly with your audience through a real-time chat. Now, a short question here. First of all, Thanks to your support I finally acquired a decent cam and I was planning to start streaming soon. I just have a simple question before we go back. Should I even do this in the first place? I am feeling still quite insecure about the way I speak, so I'm not sure if going live is a good idea. But if you want to hang out with me and be around the people who support the channel, this could be a good way. Just leave a comment down below and help me with this. So, sorry for the interruption and let's go back. Now this entry refers to a massive 2021 data breach where Twitch's source code, creators' payouts and sensitive data were leaked online by users on 4chan. The leak was attributed to a user on the B board who uploaded a torrent file containing the exposed data. Everybody could go online, download the torrent file and see what Twitch hides behind its facade. The individual behind the leak claimed that the purpose was to show how Twitch was trying to control its platform and profit off its users. He managed to leak over 120 GB of information to the public. The hacker also stated this: "Their community is a disgusting, toxic cesspool, so to foster more disruption and competition in the online video streaming space, we have completely pawned them." And in part 1, I released the source code for almost 6,000 internet GIT repositories. Among the treasure trove of data, the most sensitive folders are the one holding information about Twitch's user identities and the password mechanisms, including the admin tools and the data from Twitch's internal security team. Some thought this was a simple prank and was a troll attempted by 4chan. But Twitch would quickly tweet this out: "We can confirm a breach has taken place. Our teams are working with urgency to understand the extent of this. We will update the community as soon as additional information is available. Thank you for bearing with us." This tweet just confirmed us that the breach was very real. Many were concerned about their passwords being leaked, but somehow what sparked even more controversy was the revenue leak. People were shocked to find out how much money their favorite streamers were actually earning. I mean, playing video games and interacting with people to earn 7 figures a year is quite something. But this is the world we live in today. That's why you have to wait 6 months for an electrician. Somehow I feel that the younger generations are overlooking jobs where you need to do something with your hands. Perhaps my perception is completely inaccurate, but that's how I feel, and this is how it works in my field of work. This leak is one of the most significant and high-profile incidents in Twitch's history, and 4chan was responsible for it. This leak not only exposed the internal secrets, but also raised questions about the ethics of revealing such sensitive information for public consumption. The bigger concern is the exposed source code itself, because it could be used as a template for future attacks. 4chan did it again, and I don't know what to think about this. Even if you're not satisfied with someone or something, leaking gigabytes of information is probably not the most ethical thing you can do.
In today's video, we're talking about America's most loved and most hated celebrity. You guessed it. The Biebs.
Justin Bieber was featured on the last entry, where I already hinted this entry to some point. The popularity of people like Justin Bieber and Taylor Swift made them the perfect target to be trolled, as there is a huge audience behind them who would do, for better or worse, anything for them. Obsession is never good, much like in this case. Now let's go back to 2013, when all of this started. So Justin Bieber, the worldwide recognized pop singer and a role model to many young people, was caught doing something bad, let's say. He was smoking some Mary Jane, and the bad thing was that he was photographed while doing it.
I'm Mary Jane.
Like, that is my favorite name.
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
Now, first of all, I don't know where the photo was taken and if this was actually illegal. But he was 18 at the time, so he was a legal adult. Now, Justin understands that his fan base is quite young, and he should have realized that an act like this captured on camera could reflect poorly on him. Now, 4chaners quickly started to think of a way how to create a prank around this and spread it online. They decided to make a hashtag called #ComingForBieber. The hoax was centered around self-harm in protest of the pop star's rumored use.
Prank organized by a bunch of internet trolls from 4chan.
Posted this message on 4chan's infamous B section. Let's start a self for Bieber campaign. Tweet a bunch of pics of people themselves and claim we did it because Bieber was smoking weed.
The problem was that much of his fanbase, like I said, were very young girls, barely in their teens. The hashtag quickly gained traction on platforms like Twitter and Tumblr, with both real and fake images being shared. While some users participated as a joke, others were genuinely alarmed, amplifying the hoax. Mental organizations and public figures criticized this movement, as this is a thing that should not be exploited. Now, although the campaign was a hoax, it just highlighted the dangers of online misinformation and how quickly harmful trends can spread on social media. For the fans who actually did this, to go down this road is quite extreme, but when you are young, your brains tend to work in mysterious ways, I guess. Parent control is important, and I don't know if Justin is here to blame. Obviously not, because 4chan started this trend, but I hope you know what I mean by this. This is a prank go too far in my opinion. It's one thing to get someone's reaction for fun, but this time it's completely different, as nothing can you leave scarred for life, or even worse in extreme cases. Going bald for Bieber was somewhat funny, as people who believed in this lost their hair, but nothing serious didn't happen besides being mocked by others probably. 4chan just lost the extreme, and this entry is a prime example, but the next one is even more extreme.
Tonight I wanna show this off.
We can expect anything from the internet culture. We have covered so much odd and disturbing content on my channel, but there are still things that managed to surprise me. I never thought I would cover an entry about how a bunch of people cheered a guy to take his life, but this entry is exactly about that, of how 4chan's humor and actions are sometimes more extreme than we initially thought. Just a trigger warning here, as I will dive a bit deeper here. Now we need to go back to the 30th November 2013, where a guy made quite an unsettling post. "Hi, be bored. This is it. Tonight I will be ending my own life. I'm spending the last hour making the preparations and I'm ready to go through with it." As an old egg who has been on 4chan since 2004, I thought I would finally give back to the community in the best way possible. I am willing to a hero on the cam for all of you. All that I request for you guys, to link me to a site where I am able to stream it for you guys. Then I will gladly fulfill my promise. By the way, if you didn't know, a hero is a term used to refer to taking one's own life, which originated in April of 2006, when a Minnesota 7th grader used this term and did just that. The premise was simple. The 4chaners needed to provide a stage where Steve could go out with a bang. This was posted on the B-board, known for its chaotic and unpredictable culture. As you can guess, they didn't have any problem with this. The goal was to get 200 people online, and 4chaners quickly managed to gather the audience. Now we have a small problem here. The only video online is muted. I don't know if Stevie deliberately muted himself or had some mic problems, but there is no sound in the video recording. Looking at the early parts of the video, we could see Steven talking to the audience and later using his phone. People would quickly see that something isn't right. The way how Steven behaved by grinding his teeth and having facial tweaks could be an indicator that he was under some illegal substance. As the stream went on, Steven decided, just like on Twitch, to engage with his audience. He stated they should choose the way how he goes out. Two of the most popular ideas was taking a bath with a toaster, and the second entry, which was in the end chosen, was starting a fire using a toaster. This immediately embedded Steve in the internet culture as Toaster Steve. For you know how this goes. For the guideline reasons, I need to censor the video. But let me talk you through. You could see that Steve is doing something in the left corner. Over time we could see that Steve was in a state of fear or distress. We could argue that he was actually enjoying the attention. As the dark smoke from the toaster started to spread through the room, Steve put on his hoodie and crawled underneath his blanket. There was so much speculation about the drugs he was using at the time. Some speculated amphetamines and play, while other things he was using painkillers like codeine which helped with anxiety, but would also have some nasty side effects when combined with alcohol. Over time, the room was dark and filled completely with smoke. Because of this, his body was barely visible, but it was apparent that he wasn't moving. As his body lay there, motionless, suddenly somebody jumped into the stream. An unknown man who grabbed his lifeless body and dragged him out of the room. Later, it was revealed that Steven was actually a guy named Dakota Moore, a 20-year-old student at the University of Guelph in Ontario, Canada. It was revealed that Dakota tried to take his own life by swallowing a combination of pills and drinking vodka, along with setting his dorm room on fire. The firefighters managed to drag him out and he would eventually land in the hospital. He was in critical condition. In the meantime, it was discovered that Dakota was a 4chan user since he was 11 years old. The problem was that the event sparked sort of a movement where people would actually mock Dakota, making the Toaster Steve meme. The full video was completely lost and was considered lost media until 2023 when it was recovered. Speculation started to pop up that Dakota did this because of a student loan or because he was SAing his girlfriend and she reported him, but these were mere speculations. But we should not look at speculations. As far as my knowledge goes, the guy simply disappeared online. This case is quite extreme. I know that 4chan is slow to troll others, but this goes beyond your typical trolling, and if somebody has suicidal tendencies, we should not endorse them in any way. Especially not give the individual a stage with the audience that would decide his fate. We do live in a sick world. This isn't remotely funny or entertaining, as the video casts a dark shadow on the internet culture. People should help each other, but somehow I feel it's completely the other way around. Toasty Steve is the last entry on this layer. But before we wrap this up, I just want to express my gratitude for watching this video and supporting the channels with your likes and comments. Sorry for not posting last week, but most of you do know why I didn't post last week, so I thank you for your patience. For the new viewers among you, please consider subscribing to my channel because it does help a lot. If you're bored, you can always check out my channel for more obscure and dark stuff. I don't have anything else to say besides thank you, I've been Snorky, and until the next deep dive, stay curious.